Once, there was an empire where the sun never set. A tiny island that ruled the waves, shaped the modern world, and sparked revolutions, industrial, cultural, and political. But today, that island stands in the shadow of a colossus, America. A Goliath of innovation, wealth, and sheer economic might. Why can't Britain, the original David of global dominance, keep up? The answer isn't just about size. It's a tale of choices, identity, and a twist that redefines what winning even means. Let's rewind. In 1900, Britain controlled a quarter of the Earth, but 2 world wars later, America emerged as the new titan, its economy turbocharged by vast resources, a booming population, and a culture of bigger is better. Meanwhile, Britain traded empire for welfare states, tea breaks, and a stiff upper lip. But here's the twist. This isn't a story of failure. It's a story of divergent destinies. Take innovation. America's Silicon Valley is a neon jungle of disruption, where failure is a badge of honor and billionaires are born overnight. Britain, it gave us the steam engine and the World Wide Web. Why? Risk aversion. British culture prizes stability over moonshots. The US throws venture capital at 100 startups, hoping one becomes Google. The UK invests in NHS hospitals and reliable trains. Different priorities, different outcomes. Finance? London's city rivals Wall Street. But here's the catch. America's economy isn't just New York. It's Texas oil, Hollywood dreams, Midwest farms, and tech hubs from Seattle to Austin. Britain's economy? It's the size of Texas, literally. The US has 330 million people. Britain has 67 million. 25 trillion GDP against 3 trillion. Scale matters. But wait. The twist deepens. Britain chose not to keep up. Post-World War II, it built a welfare state, nationalised industries, and later embraced austerity. America doubled down on capitalism, military spending, and manifest destiny. Britain's identity became preserving history. America's became inventing the future. The result? The US economy grows like a redwood, tall, relentless. Britain grows like an oak, steady, rooted, but overshadowed. In the 1980s, Thatcher tried Reaganomics, slashing taxes, privatising industries, but Britain's social fabric pushed back. Universal healthcare, free museums and pub culture weren't negotiable. Americans tolerated inequality for the American dream. Brits tolerated less hustle for more holidays. Neither is right, but only one creates trillion-dollar tech monopolies. Geography sealed the deal. America has endless land, oil and crops. Britain? It's a cramped island importing goods. The US can drill, farm and build. Britain must negotiate, trade and pivot. Yet here's the twist. Britain thrives in niches America ignores. Luxury brands, premium education, cultural influence. The US wins by mass, the UK by class. But let's be real. In a world obsessed with GDP, America's lead seems insurmountable. Yet if success is quality of life, Britain's healthcare, work-life balance and pub pints give the US's gig economy and medical bills a run for their money. So, can Britons catch up? Maybe not in dollars. But this isn't David versus Goliath, it's David versus Goliath. If David decided he'd rather write novels, invent vaccines and enjoy Sundays in the park, the twist, the race was never about speed, it's about direction. And sometimes the smaller economy teaches the giant what really matters. What's your take? Is bigger always better? Like, comment and rethink success. 1945. Europe lies in ruins. Britain, victorious but bankrupt, sips tea and tightens its belt. Meanwhile, America, untouched by bombs, unveils the Marshall Plan. A $130 billion, today's dollars, masterstroke. They rebuilt Europe, but branded it Made in the USA. Suddenly the world had a new superhero, Uncle Sam. This was the moment the baton of global leadership passed from the British Empire to the United States. The British, exhausted from 2 world wars, retreated into a quieter role, while America stepped onto the world stage with the swagger of a new superpower. The American dream, a land of opportunity where anyone could rise to greatness, became the beating heart of the nation. It wasn't just a dream, it was a mandate, a relentless engine that drove Americans to innovate, build, and conquer. From the skyscrapers of New York to the Silicon Valleys of California, the American spirit was one of boundless ambition. Americans weren't content with merely being good, they wanted to be the best. They built the largest economy in the world, pioneered technological revolutions, and created cultural phenomena that dominated global markets. Hollywood became the world's storyteller, Silicon Valley its innovator, and Wall Street its financier. The American ethos was clear: bigger, faster, stronger. There was no finish line, only the next horizon. While Americans were busy colonizing Mars, the Britons were perfecting the art of the garden. While Americans were building megacities, the Britons were writing plays and composing symphonies. There was a charm to this, a sense of balance and depth. But it wasn't the stuff of global dominance. Across the Atlantic, the United Kingdom stood as a testament to endurance and refinement. The Britons were the keepers of tradition, the stewards of history. Theirs was a quieter confidence, born not from the need to prove themselves, but from the knowledge that they had already shaped the world in profound ways. The British Empire may have waned, but its legacy remained in the form of language, law, and culture. Yet, this very strength was also a limitation. The British weren't driven by the same relentless ambition as their American counterparts. They valued stability, subtlety, and understatement. While Americans were shouting their accomplishments from the rooftops, the Britons were content to sip tea and make a witty remark. Americans dream in IMAX, break things, move fast, birthed Google, Tesla, and Facebook. Brits, they're busy perfecting the art of the polite no. While Steve Jobs dropped out of college to revolutionize tech, a Brit might have stayed for a PhD and a scone. The cultural divide between the two nations was perhaps the most telling. Americans were bold, unapologetic and loud. They celebrated their successes with fireworks and fanfare. They turned everything into a spectacle, from their Super Bowl halftime shows to their blockbuster movies. This boldness was infectious, and it allowed American culture to permeate every corner of the globe. The Britons, on the other hand, were masters of restraint. Their humor was dry, their praise understated, and their achievements often quietly acknowledged. While Americans were busy building empires of industry, the Britons were building empires of the mind. Geography played its part in this eternal chase. The United States was a vast continent, rich in resources and space. It was a land of endless possibilities, where dreams could grow as large as the plains of Texas or the mountains of Colorado. This scale of ambition was reflected in everything Americans did, from their sprawling cities to their larger-than-life personalities. The United Kingdom, by contrast, was a small island nation. Its size necessitated a different approach to life. The Britons learned to make the most of what they had, to value quality over quantity, and to find beauty in the details. This was evident in their literature, their architecture, and their way of life. But it also meant that they could never compete with the sheer scale of American ambition. Yet for all their differences, both nations had something the other could never fully replicate. The Americans had breadth. Their influence was everywhere, from the music people listened to the phones they carried in their pockets. But the Britons had depth. Their contributions to literature, science, and philosophy were profound and enduring. Shakespeare, Newton, and Darwin were not just British icons, they were global treasures. In this paradox lay the heart of the matter. The Britons could never catch up with the Americans in everything because they were playing a different game. While Americans were busy conquering the world, the Britons were busy understanding it, and so the chase continued, not as a race to be won, but as a dance to be savoured. The Americans would always be ahead in some things: technology, entertainment, and sheer scale. But the Britons would always have their own victories, subtle, profound, and timeless. Together, they represented two sides of the same coin, two ways of seeing and shaping the world. So, can Brits catch up? Maybe not. But perhaps they're not racing. America builds skyscrapers, Britain plants gardens, both matter. Now drop a comment. Are you team ambition or team tradition? And smash subscribe. This isn't history, it's story time. Follow us for more thought-provoking content like this. Click like and share button.